WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jarom and Tanner. Let's do it. Jarom and Tanner.
All right, so there's the WCB Podcast. It's Jarom, it's Tanner. What's up, God?
Oh, doing all right. You know, recovering since the old Winter Classic.
Dude, it has been a roller coaster of emotions in the 3 games since last recording.
Yeah, it's been weird, huh?
It's been very weird, but I got to say too, talking about the last episode, I think we need to do those venting episodes a little bit more often. Hopefully not as a lot often, but I think when it calls for it, we need it because I felt better after that. It seemed to resonate with the listeners and viewers and all that. So it was a good safe space type of situation.
I feel like they're harder to come by because my expectations are not super high. Where at that point it was like, this is a big game, you know, the platform that it's on, you got to show up for something like this, and that's where it's okay, now it's frustrating. Now I'm just going back to we're not a good team still, so stop putting us on national television.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I think if anything we'll be venting about, it's some of the just piss poor takes and just non common sense thinking from people, and it's like you can't pay attention to social media. You can't pay attention to that, as I say, as we post our shit on social media and hope you guys listen and watch.
You can't pay attention to other people's social media.
WCB Podcast you can listen to and trust. We are the number one source.
Level-headed takes and big dreams.
Because it's you got people and the thing that infuriates me the most. Let's just get some venting out of the way now. Let's just get it out of the way.
Oh, yes.
Talking about in the last week or so, there's been a lot of more takes. I mean, we'll talk about Jeremy Ronet's comments on his podcast. And I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. But then you have fucking Barstool Chief, who it's infuriating. He's got some of the worst fucking takes.
He always has. I don't understand why anybody thinks that he's some sort of intelligent source on fucking hockey.
Because he talks to people within the organization. As he said, that was one of his responses to people questioning, challenging his response. You guys act like I don't talk to people within the organization. What the fuck does that mean? You're saying that you wish we would have drafted 2, 3, or 4 the year we got Bedard, and you rather have Celebrini.
That's fucking stupid.
Seeing that, and then it's but the scary thing is, and I don't know if it's the Barstool thing or not, but it's the amount of people that were blindly following him and agreeing with him. I'm what the fuck is going on? I had no concern about Bedard leaving, but if Bedard is Elias Pettersson and he pays attention to social media, I wouldn't blame him if he hightails out of here the first chance he gets.
Nah, he's not that soft.
It's just listen to some of the stuff. It's God damn, you guys do not deserve to have this guy on your team, because it's he deserves so much more credit than what he's being given. And it's the points that he even tries to make. It's he did a spaces yesterday after Bedard puts on a fucking show and he puts a space on Twitter, kind of trying to talk about it and all this. And he's sitting there saying that he goes, what team is going to build their centerpiece around a player that small? He goes, he's not a center, which, okay, cool. If he's not a center, that's fine. You can move him to wing and he can still be effective.
Mm-hmm.
It's all this shit. It's just and he's talking about nobody's going to build a guy this small. Was it the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Pittsburgh Penguins? Their Stanley Cup teams, for at least 1 or 2 of their cups, only had one player in their top 6 above 6 feet tall.
Oh, damn.
It's why does size all of a sudden matter?
Also, Patrick Kane is 5'8", 5'10".
Fucking, and Patrick Kane, fucking Chief would fucking get on his knees and blow him if he could. The way he talks about how he should still be a Chicago Blackhawk and all this shit. It's I just don't understand the mindset of people. It makes no sense. And I just wonder if it's different for us, because me and you, we're on the same mindset, I think, and we agree with what this is. We agree that this is a top 5 lottery pick team. this year.
Yes.
That's it. They're not nothing better. Did we both think that they were going to win a couple more games?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But it's like at the end of the day, all this is doing is kicking this team down. It's just kicking the team down the line. So like that they can give, I keep saying Kirby, Colton Dock, Frank Nazar, Oliver Moore, Sam Renzel, like all these guys in our system and our prospect pool to be ready to play. That's all this is.
Yeah, like I know everybody wants to see more wins, but that's not the long-term plan with Bedard. It's like everybody always is like, oh, they're gonna ruin him. Like, I'm pretty sure they're fucking not. Kid's on a fucking 8-game point streak right now. Like, it's he's like silly.
I think he's on pace right now to pass Eddie Olczyk for most points as a teenager. I think it's Blackhawk history, or is that's just Blackhawk history, right?
It's Blackhawk history. I'm sure Wayne Gretzky has like the most points or something. Sure.
But I always see that stat and I always forget to like pay attention if it says like all time or Chicago or what, because it's just, I don't know, it's like one of those quick things. You're like, oh cool, look at those names, and you're like, oh shit, like was it Chicago or what was it? Yeah. But it's like this kid, and we keep referencing it too. It's like the Kyle Davidson interview. Kyle Davidson, like what he said about Bedard being on the same page and understand what the plan is. Kyle Davidson can't lie about that. He can't come out and say like,
right,
oh yeah, no, he's all happy with it, and Bedard would be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, all he would have to do is come around and just be like, yeah, he's not true. It's like he's not saying anything true. Like, I'm upset.
Yeah. And then one more time, if I hear about like Demidov should have been the pick and all this kind of stuff.
Dude,
and
we got Canceroff coming in. Like, don't even worry about it.
Dude, that's the KHL kid I sent the thing about yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's one of 4 players in the KHL who's a point per game player.
Yep.
And he's 20 or something like that. Like,
yep, he's 20 years old.
Yeah. And on top of that, we got a very solid defensive prospect. And then we're going to get a very solid offensive prospect this year in the draft, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that would like I would start to question a lot of shit is if they went with the defenseman that's highly rated.
I don't think they're going to.
I'd be shocked unless they moved like Korchinski, which I just feel like they don't want to go that route. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure people, if they go with Hagens, they're just going to be like, how are you going to build with fucking 2 small guys? Like, okay, man. It's like,
how we'll build. Have you the thickest 1-2 up the middle?
Yeah. Have you seen like New Jersey? They got Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier, and they're pretty fucking nasty, even though you think that they're frauds. Those guys are nasty. Like I said, those two were disgusting.
Those 2 are good. No, those 2 are good. The Devils as a whole are frauds, but Jack Hughes is I would say nasty.
Biggest frauds right now are the Rangers.
Nah.
No.
Well, actually, yeah, because are you saying they're frauds in the? Wait, I'm confused. Are you saying they're frauds? Are you saying they're frauds as that they should be better than they are? Or
no,
you're saying
like they never should have been as good as they were the last few years.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I guess I agree with that. But yeah, and then I guess fuck it, let's just keep going on talking about like plans for this team. Scott Powers did like a little article. I forgot about this. Talking about like what he's hearing about the Blackhawks right now, and the like Sparks Note version. Taylor Hall, Donato, Patrick Maroon, and Alec Martinez are all in play at the trade deadline, which makes sense.
It's interesting that there's no goalies on that list.
I don't think so.
No, I'm saying it's interesting. You don't think it's interesting?
No, I don't see them going and changing anything unless.
Well, because if the Laurent Brossoit comes back, like they're gonna have to send somebody down.
I think they're okay with that because Mrazek's injury history, especially because it's like he came back this year. It's like you don't know where it's going to be. Obviously, Brossoit is going to be hurt. There's going to be the need for that third goalie, and you can still tuck Soderblom and Rockford if need be. And I think they're going to be a lot higher on Soderblom lately because Comesso is just, I don't know. I don't know if
just take longer.
Right. Yeah. I know he's having like a little bit of a rough go right now in Rockford, which I don't know if it's like it might motivate them more to keep their options that they have right now a little bit longer, as long as they can. The other interesting thing about that, Powers is hearing that the Hall will be the obvious highest return, and that it's likely to be a third rounder or maybe a second.
Yeah.
So
I think that's mainly because of his contract too. Because even at 50% retained, it's $3 million. And if he fits really well, more than likely a second liner, but he'll probably slot in as like a third liner with like power play minutes.
I think the returns are low too, expected to be low too, because I think they're going to have to get a third team involved, probably, especially if you want to go to like a higher. So you got to split up the assets a little bit.
Yeah.
The other note here is the Hawks are motivated to clear roster spots at the end of the year. Moore, Renzel, and Green are expected to sign and immediately jump to the NHL after their college season ends. So basically, Frankie Nazar.
I can't wait till like those three guys.
Guy?
Oh, Slaggert.
Slaggert, yeah. Jesus.
I can't wait till those guys make their debut and none of them score in the first game, and then everybody goes, "These kids are fucking busts." Yeah. Kyle Davidson's a terrible GM, and we're all just gonna stare. Or you and I would just be like, Why do we even try?"
Yeah, why bother? Why even try anymore?
Like Sam Renzel didn't win the Norris in the 3 games that he played. How is like he's a fucking bust.
Well, I said Renzel's going to play like 3 games for the Hawks, and he's going to somehow win the Calder and Norris.
And the Norris. Yeah, look at the Hart too.
The only name there that the name that kind of surprised me was Oliver Moore was the one that kind of surprised me on that. I kind of felt like if anybody was going to take another year of college, it'd be him. But then again, we talked about this in person that it's kind of like the same situation Frankie Nazar, but Oliver Moore's had more time actually playing because Nazar missed most of that freshman year.
Yeah,
but he'll spend a lot of time in Rockford next year if that comes out to be true.
Oh yeah, which I think that with the way that Rockford is being shaped, it's probably even better for these kids to be there than like in the NCAA or in like the CHL. But I mean, the CHL, like you really can't do anything about it until they're like 20.
Yeah, but
get them in the A and get them to learn like the actual pro game more than just like the college game.
And like we said about this last class that went to Rockford, it's like the sooner you get these guys playing together and building that chemistry, and knowing who fits with who, it's like it makes that transition to the NHL just so much easier, and just it gets hit the ground running, because it's like once these guys are up, that's like the clear-cut sign, like let's go, we're going to bring in those pieces, the Marian Hossa type piece, that last guy, and that's a clear-cut, let's go, let's contend for a cup.
Yeah, I agree. Just looking at Oliver Moore's stats compared to everybody else that's on Minnesota. I'm curious if he's just playing second line center, because it seems like
I think
that might be the case.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, his biggest asset is his speed, so that's what the Hawks drafted him for. And if they can mold him into being a good pro with like good hockey sense, if he's just got that speed, he's going to be dangerous as fuck.
Oh yeah.
I think that one of the nice things too is the fact that him and Renzel are playing together currently, and then they'll be brought up at the same time. So there's like some familiarity other than like the brief moments that they had like during prospect camps over the summer.
Yeah.
So coming into the league together would probably be pretty cool for the two of them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You mentioned Canceroff earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The Hawks do not plan on getting him out of his contract early with the KHL. I believe, its deal expires after next season, so that'll be the first time to like really look. I think unless something drastic changes. But I mean, he's tearing it up over there. Let him just keep going.
Yeah, let him do another year and just be like the leading scorer in the KHL at 21. And then everybody's going to be like, how did the Hawks get this guy in the second round? It's like, yeah, how did Kaprizov go in the sixth or whatever he did? Like,
Demidov who?
Yeah.
Hawks are expected to part ways with Kurashev at the end of the season, which makes sense. He hasn't played at all, I think, since pre-Winter Classic.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's scheduled actually to be in the lineup against Detroit tomorrow. Okay. So that'll be interesting. And Reichel's coming out again.
I think the only I think that's dumb, but whatever.
Yeah.
The only way I see Kurashev getting any kind of success if he's on Bedard's line.
Right. Yeah. You said it. So should have sold high.
Should have sold high.
And the last note here that I'm saved this one for last for a specific reason. Power speculates that Katie and Jones will have a conversation about Jones's future at the end of the season. An NHL exec said that he doesn't see issues moving Jones's contract and that he's surprised Jones is still in Chicago. Notes that GMs around the league see value in a rangy, minute-munching, right-handed defenseman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank the fucking gods.
Well, I mean, I still am on that board of like he's not a terrible player, and it's hard to find a guy that can play as many minutes as him. I just don't think that this team moving forward, it's best. I don't think it's best to have him on the team moving forward because of all the stuff that we've seen where he looks off Bedard. And like that's not the kind of person we need on the power play and like playing all these minutes when like your best scoring chance is getting the puck to him and he kind of wants to be that guy instead. And it's like, that's not going to work out, dude. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I know we were like his biggest supporters. I felt like we were the ones defending him and all that kind of stuff.
Look, I mean, like I said, I don't think he's a terrible player at all. And like, I think the contract's fine. And
I think it just ran its course here.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, like what you said, the Bedard stuff. And then the whole media situation after the Winter Classic and stuff like that. It's just like that kind of stuff. It's like, we don't need that here. Like we're potential guys that could be a future part of this team decor are losing playing opportunity because you're there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're not going to fit this team. It's not a fit, and that's fine. It's just, let's just cut the cord. Let's move on. Let's get you somewhere that's going to work for you, and let's just move on. Like, just call it a day.
I'm curious if they do actually get, like, they move on from Seth Jones, if they end up extending Murphy, or if they're going to just look outside to see if they can bring in a veteran presence on the right side.
That's what I should pull up here. I want to look at pending free agents for 2025 that comes like defenseman wise. Because too, it's like I wonder what is the time frame on that. Like I know it said he's speculating that this is going to be a conversation that happens. Is it end of season? Because I reread what I reread that, and it doesn't say end of season. It just says they're gonna have a conversation. I think I just assumed it was gonna be end of season.
Yeah, I think it would probably be like sooner than later. That's also such a weird thing to report on. Be like, they're gonna have a conversation. Okay, cool.
I mean, it's just one of those things though too that I think it makes sense though that to talk about it because it's like I think everybody sees that it's an issue. It's not a fit, and all right, so looking at right-handed shots. I mean, the first one that comes up on Puckpedia pending UFA is
Neil Pionk.
Neil Pionk.
And then there's Aaron Ekblad, Brent Burns, Jonathan Kovacevic, Cody Ceci, Nick Perbix, David Savard, Dante Fabro, Jan Ruda, bring him back. Jeff Petrie, Ty Emberson, but fucking what is it? Elliot Friedman talks about Ty Emberson all the time and how he thinks he's going to get re-signed immediately or like should get re-signed immediately in Edmonton. Also, like at this point, these guys aren't like true veteran presence on the back end.
That's
But
the thing too.
Will Borgen, Travis Hamonic, Henry Yokohara, you bring it back, Robert Bortuzzo, Tyson Barrie. If we can get Tyson Barrie, then I can be so confused when him and TJ Brody are out there on the ice.
Yeah, I'm already confused about those guys. Like half the time when he first signed TJ Brody, I thought it was Tyson Barrie for like the first week.
Yeah, can we get the Tyson Barrie, TJ Brody, pairing?
How about Brent Burns?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind Brent Burns. That wouldn't be
Here's
terrible.
the thing, though, too. You're gonna want whoever you bring in to fill in that Seth Jones role, or that veteran presence. You're gonna want to be like a 33, 34 plus old guy.
Dude,
you don't want anybody
40.
Right, like you don't want anybody that's gonna be like I think Ekblad would be cool, but he's 28 and
he wants to get a new deal, yeah.
Exactly. So it just doesn't make sense unless you can
banger of a deal.
Yeah, unless it makes sense for you know what I mean? Like if they can.
Yeah, I mean Brent Burns could be like that 1-year deal, get paid a little bit more here than you would probably somewhere else, and then come the trade deadline, maybe you're looking at a Stanley Cup contending team as, somebody that can help them out. I didn't realize that he's only got 14 points this year.
You want Cody Ceci?
No. Absolutely not. Let's see. Is there any of them
Cody Ceci's only 31 years old? What the fuck?
Yeah.
David Savard?
I feel like David Savard is like every time he's in the last year of his contract, it's always like, David Savard, he's you're looking good. And then you hear nothing about him, and then it's like again this year, and they're like, David Savard could be on the trade block, might fetch another first rounder. It's like, what is David Savard like really good or something? Like,
what does he have on somebody?
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on? He's gonna go back to fucking Tampa. Watch.
Yeah. So it's interesting stuff to look at. I mean, I don't think we're gonna have any answers on that kind of stuff for a little bit, but I mean, it's worth kind of paying attention to, and it definitely gives you like the have fun play with who Seth Jones goes, who can come in.
It would be interesting too to see what Kyle Davidson would be able to get for Seth Jones, because if what he's saying is that like teams are like very interested in him as a player, like is he worth what we paid to get him still?
I think the return on Seth Jones would be a lot higher than people think.
Yeah. Same.
I don't know if it's going to be the same level of like what Bowman gave up to get him.
That was a dumb amount.
Yeah, that
was what, 2 firsts in Boqvist?
Yeah.
But that was for Seth Jones in a first, but it was technically like barely a first.
Yeah. But it's like I definitely could see him getting at least a first for sure.
Let's see. This is one of my favorite things about Puckpedia is that if you click on Seth Jones and it says like depth chart RD1 and you hover over it, it shows you all of the first pairing right defensemen on every team.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So you can see like, and it sorts by salary. So somebody like their first pairing right defenseman in Tampa is Darren Radish, making $975K. Like, you think Tampa can free up some money?
Yeah, and
because we would get 4 first rounders from Tampa. They don't give a fuck about picks.
Yeah. Take Hagel off your hands.
Send him to Dallas. You get Seth Jones and Miro Heiskanen. Send him to Ottawa.
Do you want to make our division a little bit stronger though, especially with a situation?
I mean, we've seen him play. Does it make them stronger?
If it's the right situation, he lives in Dallas. I mean, you think he would be a lot happier if he's home and all that?
That's true. You never know. Ooh, what about like Montreal?
Dude, they're sneaky good right now.
Yeah, but Montreal is like pretty full on the left side, I think. Right?
That's the thing, but that's the thing too.
Oh,
Like,
David Savard. I forgot. How could I forget?
we'll take David Savard off their hands. We'll give them Seth Jones. But yeah, that's the thing.
No. It's Seth Jones for Lane Hudson.
Yeah. God,
or they can give us one of their. We give them Seth Jones. They can give us Slafkovsky.
That's what's going to be interesting though too. It's like, yeah, teams would kill for a Seth Jones type player, but how do you make it work? It's like it have to be an off-season move.
Oh, absolutely. There's some cap room to work with.
Yeah, like it's not going to be a trade deadline move unless there's a big hockey trade that gets made.
I feel like
it's like a 12-team trade retaining salary across 10 teams or something.
I feel like if you move Seth Jones, I think the obvious return is got to be like a winger, right? Like you move Seth Jones for like a high top 6 winger, like a fucking first liner if you can, or like a future first liner.
I would take a top 6 and like a second round pick.
I would just do a 1-for-1 if it was like somebody like really high value winger.
Yeah,
right. I mean, like why not?
Because I mean, honestly, draft picks mean nothing now. Right now, like yeah, it's be a lot smarter with moving your draft picks and getting draft picks when you need them than Bowman was. But at the prospect pool is replenished. Once that first pick is made in the draft this year, like we're good with drafting. Like it's all just bonus players at that point. Like we don't necessarily need the draft picks. We need NHL players. Yeah, no, I like that. If there's somebody that could do a 1-for-1. Oh.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Pedersen?
Kyle Connor. That's not happening. I still don't want fucking Elias Pettersson.
Nope, you convinced me, and
I would take JT Miller though. I would take JT Miller.
I think I would just stay away from Vancouver.
No. I would take JT Miller because like he's obviously very emotionally invested and like emotionally charged and wants to win, and I feel like that would make Bedard even more so because you can tell like he fucking wants to win so bad. You get 2 of these guys, they're gonna will that team to fucking win every game.
Do you think, though, that there would be any possible concern of JT Miller coming in and just doing the same shit as Seth Jones? Looking off Bedard,
No, because JT Miller has almost 100 points and a majority of them are fucking assists.
Okay. Just got to play devil's advocate with what's going on right now.
He did hit 103 points last year. He had 66 assists and 37 goals. I think he knows when to move the puck.
That's fine. Like I said, I just had to play devil's advocate given that the rumors going on in Vancouver right now.
You know what would be really nice about JT Miller as well? Because he's left-handed, you could technically have him and Bedard swap who takes the face-off depending on what the situation is, since he's a center and also plays wing.
What is JT Miller?
What are you trying to figure out? He's got 3 years. He's got 5 more years at $8 million.
Oh, that's what I don't like about Puckpedia. Like it shows like UFA at the end there, and I always
but it says 2030.
Like, yeah, and I just glance over real quick and I just see UFA. I'm like, oh, okay, 3 years left.
Yeah. Plus, like Elias Pettersson's making 11.6 for 7 more years. Which like it could work out, but like I feel like the $8 million for JT Miller is a lot more palatable, which gives you still a lot of flexibility, especially when all your prospects are going to get their bridge deals or their massive contracts like Bedard will probably get.
And at 31 years old, you're not paying him. If you decide to keep him, you're not paying him much.
I even forgot that Brock Besser is going to be a free agent.
Yeah, I like that him too. I really like that idea of Brock Besser coming to Chicago.
Because if you can get You get Bertuzzi and Bedard and Besser, and just call them the fucking Better Business Bureau, the 3Bs.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah.
I fucking don't know why I came up with that, but that'd be great. But yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be sick.
That's so fucking great. But yeah,
that's the title of the fucking episode.
What, Better Business Bureau?
Like Better Business Bureau, which could just be Bedard, Bertuzzi, Besser.
That's amazing. Okay. But no, yeah, I mean, I'm always out on JT Miller, but you convince me every time,
man. Like
every time.
He just wants to. Like, can you imagine being JT Miller, where you get traded from the Rangers to Tampa, and right before Tampa wins the cup, you get fucking traded to Vancouver. Like, you want to win. Your team, you're a part of that team that fucking wins a shit ton of games and then ends up losing in the first round to Columbus. And you're like, we're all right, we're gonna fucking run it back. We're gonna fucking take it to them. And then they trade you, and you're like in Vancouver, and you're like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? And like, and then you still like have like you have actually a good year, 72 points in 69 games. And you have like a decent year. It seems like you might have been injured with 40. No, that's not injured. That's shortened season. I forgot. 46 and 53. And then all of a sudden you're like, all right, fuck it. Let's get it. And he gets 99 points in 80 games. And it's like, ooh, JT Miller's, and dude, he fucking hits, blocks shots. The guy fucking is so good. He's so underrated.
So let me just ask this one too, just because you said New York, similar contract to JT Miller, same age, same term, Zibanejad.
No,
I think it's $500,000 more.
No, he's soft as fuck. He is so much softer than Elias Pettersson. He's fragile.
Okay, I'm just looking at options.
It's just, if Zibanejad is on his game, he always has that like 4-goal game possibility, 4 to 5 goals. He scores at least one time during the season. He'll score 4 or 5 goals in one single game, and he'll go from like 24 goals to 29, and then it's all of a sudden like in 5th place.
That was fair. All right. Shit, what an intro.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's just touch real quick on the games, and then we'll move on to we'll wrap this one up kind of early. But Hawks went 2-1 this past week, and like we said when we first started, it was just a weird fucking week. You get your dick kicked in the Winter Classic.
Mm-hmm.
The team gets put on notice. They come out, they beat the Montreal Canadiens, who have been on a fucking tear.
Yeah.
Like won 7 of their last 10 going into that one, just coming off beating Vegas, Tampa, and Florida. They win 4-2 in that one.
Yeah, and that was the major game by Soderblom too.
Just Soderblom was playing
real good. Oh yeah, dude.
Stopping 38 of 40 shots he faced. Like,
it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
So then that's snaps their 5-game losing streak. So then you're like, okay, maybe the message was clear. You know, the team woke up. They were embarrassed. They're gonna just play. Put up better performances. Maybe not win, but they'll put up better performances. Fast forward a couple days later, they played the New York Rangers, and it looks like the Winter Classic 2.0.
Yeah, man. Like games like that are pretty tough though too, because it was pretty much like every shot from the point just decided to make its way in, and even like shots that just made it on net, like hit off of players and went in.
Yeah,
it was in like a lot that they could do on some of that shit.
Soderblom got the back-to-back start. Why can't I fucking
Shesterkin?
No.
No.
Coach Sorensen.
Oh, Sorensen.
was asked about the whole goalie because it's pretty much been like rotating, and he was asked if it's like to the point too where it's kind of like if someone's playing well, are they gonna get the go again, or are you gonna stick with it? And he goes, it's definitely performance based. So Soderblom got the start in this one again after the fantastic outing against the Canadians, and it just, I don't know if he's just not ready for it, or like if it's just like you said, just weird shots or whatever. He just didn't have it in this one like he did against Montreal.
Yeah, I think we're still in the territory of I don't think Soderblom should be doing back-to-back starts. I mean, it's not back-to-back, but like, consecutive starts.
Yeah.
I think maybe the beginning, so it's like a weird mix of like they're doing too much in both directions, where like the beginning of the season, like it was like 10 games played and Mrazek played 9 of them and Soderblom played 1. It's like, okay, that's not what we need to do because we're going to burn out Mrazek. And Soderblom was playing well. And then Mrazek got hurt. Soderblom came in, played well. And then now like they're in this weird mix of like the Winter Classic happened and shit went down. So now he's like, okay, whoever fucking can play is playing, and decided that Soderblom, because of that win, now he's going to get another start. But it's like, no, really just kind of let's say there's 6 games, do like 4 Mrazek, 2 Soderblom. Let's do like a 2/3, 1/3 kind of thing. And like, or that'll keep Soderblom on top of his game, as well as not burning out Mrazek without having Soderblom being overloaded too soon for being like as young as he is.
And maybe not throw Soderblom after a big game against a desperate team that should be doing a lot better and are just like sharks circling in the water for the Blackhawks, with like the Rangers were. Like if they're playing the Sharks or they're playing like Buffalo, something like that after a really good performance like against Montreal, then put them in the net. Why not? But better teams, I feel like you got to kind of protect them a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Hawks followed that one up with a national televised game against the Colorado Avalanche.
Well, I was going to say in that game, White Kaiser also got his first goal.
Dude, and I fucking have it sitting on my screen right here, hovering over his goal to mention it, and I fucking forget.
That's all right. It's another game where the Hawks score first and they end up losing, which is just I want to know, like, at the end of the year, like, how I've never even tried to follow this stat before, but like, how many, like, is this going to be a record of like this team has the most first goals to start a game and has lost the most of those games? Like,
it's got it. If it's not, so crazy. I'd be blown away to see what was.
It is a great way to start every game because I'm like, oh fuck yeah, dude, they're feeling it in this one. And then it's every time like they hook me, and then I'm like, what happened?
Son of a bitch got me again.
It's every single time. Like last year, it was like they would get scored on first in the first like 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. But this time, it's like they scored first in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, fuck yeah, baby, we're back.
Well, Wednesday night against Colorado scored first, so you knew the Hawks were winning that one. Going into that one, the Hawks were on a 15-game losing streak on national TV, dating back to October 2023. Which is just fucking insane. Stop putting us on national television.
Maybe they're like, put them on TV as much as we fucking can until they win. Like,
yeah, they're bound to win eventually.
Yeah.
But this one was a good, like, the future could be really good for this team. Like, the young kids can do it. Bedard, it sends his point streak to 8 games, assisting on Mikheyev's goal.
Oh, I just want to point out real quick, though, that Juuso Parssinen goal was nasty. The backhand.
I missed that one.
Yeah, it was just like I think it was a 2-on-1. Yeah, it was a 2-on-1 break down the ice, and he just fucking takes it forehand backhand at like kind of near the bottom of the circle and just roofs it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was like no effort, too. Holy shit.
And he's the one that was in Nashville last year, and I think it was an overtime game. He ends it, and he's the one that just like raised his hand like he was some sort of like Roman lord. It was just
he also I think scored like a between the leg goal or like just some absolute nasty goal to win overtime, and he just skates by the bench and he's just like, and just like everybody's like jumping on him, and he's just like,
yeah, dude, fucking stone cold, hilarious.
But yeah, so Bedard gets his point streak going with the Mikheyev goal. Frankie Nazar, which it fucking is perfect because before the game, Sorensen was talking about how like, yeah, the goals aren't there, but it's like he's
playing
right there.
Really well.
He's playing so well. He's right there. He's like, I'm telling him just to keep it up because one of these are bound to go in. And what happens? Perfect spot for a rebound off a Colton Dock shot. Puts it away.
Well,
Colton
perfectly placed shot too for a rebound, which was great.
Yeah. So Colton Dock gets his first NHL point. Frankie Nazar gets his first goal of the season. Teravainen gets on the board again. And then the third period, was it the second period? No, we'll talk about the second period before. The disallowed goal from Bedard.
Yeah, that was in the second. Because it was to bring him up to 3-1.
Yeah. What was your opinion on that?
I think he kicked it.
You think he did kick it?
Yeah. I think he was like, trying to guide the puck towards where his stick was, but his stick was kind of buried like behind the goalie. And so his like motion to kick it forward towards his stick just kind of like he didn't get a chance to put his stick on it. And it was like more of like a sweeping with the foot rather than, on like a kick.
The one angle they kept showing from like the side, and it might have been because it was the side. I'm like, it looks like it didn't even like touch his foot.
Oh no, he definitely like pulled it in. It was really funny. Like Darren Pang had the interview with him after the game. He was like, "Do you think he kicked it?" And he's like, It's like he knows he fucking did.
Yeah. So, okay. So he gets his goal taken back, but then he goes and just fucking rips it. A great pass from Bertuzzi to send him going. Just goes in, rips it, gets his 11th of the season. Bedard's fucking feeling it. Like we said, 8-game point streak. He has had, what was the stats? 4 goals, 7 assists in that span. The kid's on pace to what was like 72 or 73 points. So he's on pace to have a better statistic season than last year. He's on pace to pass Eddie Olczyk for most points as a teenager.
That's pretty sweet.
Can everybody just fucking get off his dick, like about giving him shit? Like,
so I guess 3 things. 1, Frank Nazar and Teravainen had a disgusting play, I think, during the third period where they stripped the puck. It was on the penalty kill.
Yeah, the penalty kill.
And then Frankie fucking dished it over to Teravainen, who had a wide open shot and just hit the post so fucking hard.
I thought it was in.
I thought
like
it was
the
in.
way it bounced. Yeah,
so many people thought it was in. But
that
I
was
like,
Middlestat.
oh shit! Like this is so nasty.
Yeah, Middlestat went to go drop pass it to McCarr.
Yeah,
thus proving that drop back fucking power play bullshit is stupid as shit. Because
well, it just like makes me excited for the fact that Frankie plays on the penalty kill too, because he's just so solid. I also saw on Reddit, I forgot who posted, but they put Frankie's face on Jesus and put Frank Nazareth. Yeah. It's like, that's so good. The other thing too was like a part of that interview that Pang did with him after the game with Bedard. He asked him about his goal. He's like, "Did you see that spot there?" And he's just like so matter of factly. He's like, "No, like he didn't really give me much. That's just a place I like to shoot where I know the goalies have a hard time." I'm like, "What?" He's just like, I got it there. Felt good. It went in. And it's just like, buddy, like you make it seem so like easy.
The kid is a fucking robot, and I'm not convinced any other way.
I'm just like if he's like, I scanned basically. I knew where it would be tough for him to make the save, so I just put it there instead. It's like, okay.
So with that game, the Hawks have officially hit the halfway mark of the season.
I also have a third thing. I forgot about that.
Yeah, sorry.
With how everybody's saying like Bedsy's not good and everything. For the majority, we all know he's on a terrible team, right? So how many teams do you think he would be first in points on?
Oh, you're telling me this earlier. Didn't you say it was like 4. There's all but 4.
No. There's it's not all but 4, but it feels like it would be. He would be like top 2 in a majority of the teams. I think I told you earlier that like it was very surprising that he would be like 4th in Columbus. Columbus has 3 guys that have more points than Bedard, which is crazy to me because it's Werenski, Marchenko, and Monahan. And that's why they're in a fucking playoff spot.
So wait, do you have the number of how many teams he'd be first on?
Yeah.
Was it like 15?
No, it's less than that. You
10.
got to think he's still on a bad team.
No, I know. I'm just trying to think. Like
it's a little less than 10, but it's not bad. It's surprising some of the teams.
8.
It's 8. So he'd be first on Anaheim, Buffalo, Calgary, Nashville. Oh, I gotta check that again. I don't think that's right. I put New Jersey. That doesn't seem right to me. Maybe it is though. No, I think I meant to type something. I think it's the Islanders. It is the Islanders. Yeah, the Islanders. I don't know why I put New Jersey. Because I was writing this down when we were talking about Hischier and Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
And then San Jose, Seattle, and St. Louis. He would be the leading scorer on St. Louis.
He's so bad, man. He's trash.
He would literally be the second. He has the second most points on almost every other team besides like some of the more obvious ones like Edmonton. He would be second in points on Boston. He would be second in points on fucking let's see. Where's another like surprising one? I think Dallas. Yeah, he's actually tied for the lead in Dallas with Matt Duchene. Isn't that crazy? Dallas is a good ass team, and Bedard would be number 1 on their team in points, tied for number 1 in points with Matt Duchene. He would be second on Detroit. Let's see, Florida. He would be tied for second in Florida. He's bad. Just remember, he's bad. He would be second on LA. Let's see. He'd be second in Minnesota.
Dude, it's fucking infuriating that people
tied for second in Montreal. Yeah, I know, right?
Holy shit.
It's kind of insane. You'd be second on the Rangers. Tied for second in Ottawa. Fucking second in Philly. Let's see, Pittsburgh. Oh, where do you think he would be in Pittsburgh?
3rd.
Second. Nice try. Tampa. Ooh, he would be 5th in Tampa. God, Tampa's good.
Hagel's having a fucking year.
It's just deciding how good a team is based on where Bedard would be on their team in points. Utah, second in Utah. Clayton Keller, surprise, 40 points in 39 games.
Good for him, man.
Big fan. Vegas, he would be second. So many teams.
All right, let's wrap this up here because we're almost going an hour. So basically, the Hawks halfway point. So just a quick look at their numbers: 14, 25, and 2 for 30 points. That is 2 wins better than last season.
Right where we thought we'd be.
Yeah, 105 goals for, 138 goals against. Numbers that could be bumped up a little bit. Power play, they're 13th in the NHL. As of last night, so this isn't taking account of anything that changed with today's games. This is when I created this at the end of the Hawks game yesterday. 13th place at 23.3%. Their PK was 5th with 83.6%. Goal leader Tyler Bertuzzi with 14, assist leader and point leader Bedard with 26 and 37 respectively. Mrazek leads with 8 wins. Soderblom has the goals against and save percentage lead, 9.905 save percentage and 2.92 goals against. Just other key events that happened in that time frame for the first half of the season. Luke Richardson fired. First 3-game win streak since February 2023. And Nazar and Doc made the jump and proving that they can hold their own up at the NHL.
Yep.
There's a short time frame, at least for Doc, the short time frame he's had.
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen from him.
Yeah. So we'll do one more topic, and I'll let you pick. Do you want to do JR? Do you want to do Taves? Or do you want to do Carle?
I feel like we got to do David Carle, huh?
All right, let's get into it.
Also, I guess real quick on Jonathan Toews, if he goes to Toronto, I think it'd be hilarious if Toronto also traded for Patrick Kane.
Toronto doesn't deserve Toews.
What better way to try and break your fucking curse than the two kids that broke the curse in Chicago?
Toronto doesn't deserve Toews.
I know, but that'd be really funny.
All right. David Carle. David Carle.
Mm-hmm. The hottest thing on the block.
Creepy ginger from USA Hockey.
Don't make him mad. He could be your coach.
So he has won back-to-back World Junior Championships with Team USA. He has won 2 national championships in the last 3 seasons and is a very good shot in winning 3 and 4. He's already had some tires kicked on him by, I think, St. Louis and I think New Jersey.
What? St. Louis just changed their coach. Oh, okay.
No, last year.
Oh, my God.
I think it was like when they were like doing their cold coaching search before whatever they did.
Yeah.
New Jersey just did like a introductory like conversation with him. I think they were always. I think Elliot Freeman said that they were just set on Keefe if he became available. But
I like this. I like this better now that St. Louis tried to get him, and he was like, "Nah, I prefer Denver."
So he's young. He's I think 35, 36. He's a young coach. So. He's got a lot of ties to Blackhawk prospects.
Yes. You want me to say what those were again?
Go ahead.
So he currently is coaching Aiden Thompson, who's in the Blackhawk system. He has previously coached Cole Gutman, who is in Rockford. He has experience with Frank Nazar, Oliver Moore, Sam Renzel, and Gavin Hayes through the USA Hockey program. And then he's familiar by coaching against players like Sasha Boisvert, Dominic James, Adam Gahan. And then he also, even though not NCAA, AJ Spellacy, who was invited to the camp for USA before World Juniors. So he's got some familiarity with who he is too. So it's a decent amount of players that we have in our system that have some sort of ties to David Carle. David Carle? Yeah. I keep wanting to say something else. I don't know why.
Yeah. So of course, given the Hawk situation, I mean, everybody's got to get their boners up for something, and right now the flavor of the week is Carle, and
that flavor is strawberry.
We'll say like ginger root or something, but
okay.
But it's one of those things that it's like.
You want to die on the hill? You want to die on the hill of the Hawks need a veteran coach?
Yes. I will die on that hill. I will take that bullet. And again, prove me wrong. I will. This is one of those things I want to be proven wrong on. You know, like it's not one of those things where like I'm going to be pissed if it ends up working out. It's like, oh well, it's still bullshit. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, I want to be proven wrong. But the Hawks have gone this whole route. We've talked about this first year coach trying to get this new perspective, this new look, this new top guy. Jeremy Colleton was seen the same way. He was very successful in an international coaching. He was very successful in his short time with Rockford. Like he was seen as this next big thing. And we saw how that worked out. Luke Richardson was a little bit different. He had the NHL experience and all that kind of stuff, but he was seen as a very good option as a head coach. And I still think he will be, but it didn't work out.
Well, I think Richardson was brought in for a completely different reason because he was meant to, deal with a team that was not meant to be winning and try and do his best to make them not look pitiful.
Yeah. So it's like, forgive me if I'm a little hesitant to go ahead and just give the keys to this team in a time that's very important to their development and taking that next step to another first-time coach. I think that a veteran coach is still the smart move. You get somebody with experience that knows what they're doing. There's no learning curve for the head coach trying to figure out, his voice as a NHL head coach and all that kind of stuff too. And you go.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the appeal and the need to go for something like this. And you listing all those players, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, but you also got to look at it I like the way that you look at it too, because like you sometimes do need a guy that's been there, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know how a guy, like, let's say they're still on, like TJ Brody, right? TJ Brody's on the team next year, and we have David Carle. David Carle's a year older than TJ Brody. Like, Carle's used to coaching kids like in college age, right? That's the World Juniors. That's what they are. Like, it's a little bit different than coaching men, like guys that have families, guys that have like other things going on, not just like their focus is hockey and college. Like, it's a different mentality that they bring to the rink than like those kids. So it's a completely different world that you got to think about. That's just not the on ice product too, that he would have to get used to. Though if it ends up being something where like, hey, like if this guy does have this really great ability to, develop these players and bring them like bring these winning ways, like it is a good chance to get it done now and succeed in the future, versus like if it's always like it's better to do it now than later when we're actually trying to be competitive, like really like competing. Because like if it doesn't work out now, whatever, cool, now we know for sure, go the veteran route. But if it works out now, like, and you strike gold, like you can be looking at your coach for who knows how long for the future.
Here's kind of like another like counterpoint to that. You're saying like, yeah, if it doesn't work out now because we're not competing to win right now kind of thing, and then okay, cool. But it's like, okay, but you take that risk and that's another year you're wasting when you could be getting, tuned in. And it's like, that's another system. You got these young kids having to learn again, and like these guys having to learn. But
I didn't even mention this, but like Nick Foligno would actually be older than him.
Right. And then too, we've seen how that works. That's Carleton all over again. Like majority of the guys on the team played. Freaking Seabrook was teammates with him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's right.
It's just like one of those weird things. But then it's like also the one way that I could see like, okay, let's go for it and just do it. It's like, if there's not a veteran coach available that is worth, being like, all right, let's go with him kind of thing. Okay, go with him. If he wants to come to Chicago, he wants to leave Denver and come to Chicago, then all right, cool. But don't pick him over, like, if there is a legitimate can't miss veteran coach available.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm like, okay, I hope it really does hit if they end up going the Carle route. I really hope it hits, but it's like at the same time, I'm just like it's okay to play it safe. It's okay to play safe and not take that chance. But it's like, I get the appeal. Trust me, I understand it. I get it. I just personally, at this point in time, this very moment, you had asked me to make a decision gun to head. I want a veteran coach. Just how I feel.
Yes, but which ones are available?
Exactly.
Right? That's what it comes down to.
And you have to imagine there's going to be some names coming available once the season ends. Like Mike Sullivan, Pittsburgh, I think there's going to be a change there if they miss the playoffs again.
Peter Laviolette.
Then
dude, fucking David Carle's younger than me.
How old is he?
He's 35, but he's 2 months younger than I am.
Does that change are you on team me now?
No, man. I'm going to become his friend. I'm going to be on the bench.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not. It's not that I'm completely against it. I just think we've been down this road before, and we've heard all the promises of this is a guy his mind is so different, and the fresh face and all this and all that, blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, cool, we've heard that before, been there, done that. We're still here.
Yep. Yeah.
That's just my opinion. And like I said, I easily can be persuaded, and I hope if it does end up being that, I'm going to support the dude, and I'm going to be cheering for him, and I'm praying to God I get proven wrong, that he was the right choice, and we have our coach for the next 20 years or whatever.
Yes, it's the thing that is so like too similar to me is the David Carle thing, where he had success at Boston University and he's a highly sought after coach, and then
You're talking about David Quinn.
David Quinn. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're literally just talking about David Carle. And he's this highly sought after coach, and then he goes to the Rangers, and then it's just like nothing. Goes to San Jose, and then now he's the assistant coach in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and then
that's what the Rangers. The Rangers went that route when they're kind of in the similar situation where they were like in that retool, rebuild kind of thing, and brought in their coach of the future that they thought they were going to have. I can't remember what 2021. What did they do that year? Either way, like obviously it didn't work out the way that they thought it was going to. And then I think that's when they brought in Laviolette, and then they were making playoff pushes.
Here, and then, here's my last thing too. I'll say with that is too, it's the Blackhawks.
They brought in Gallant. That's what it is. Okay, no, this is completely fine. What we'll do is we'll just bring David Carle in, and then when it doesn't work out after 2 years, we'll bring in Gallant. He'll have 2 solid seasons, and then we'll send him away in a taxi and bring in somebody else.
Make sure we're the farthest point away from Chicago and tell him he's got to figure his own way back.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But then too, it's like if everybody likes to, talk about like where they should be, like, like the old Blackhawks and all that kind of stuff. What really put the Blackhawks over the edge on the map was bringing Q in as the head coach.
Yeah.
And that was a vet, a guy that's been there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there you go. I mean, it's just, there's perfect examples for both cases for everything. And I don't want to be seen until they actually hire somebody, everybody just slobbering over the idea of this guy, when it's like, you don't know. You just don't know. And that's the case with everybody. You don't know how the players are going to develop. You don't know how they're going to fit on this team. You're not going to know how coaches are going to develop and how they're going to fit with this team and how the players will respond. It's like, it's a crapshoot. It really is. But when you're demanding that this team be better and start winning, I would assume you would want them to go the safe route to make sure that happens.
Yeah. I feel like it's like, I feel like teams are always trying to change the formula, Don't
reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Just fucking.
But what if we can make it wheel 2.0?
It's got a wheel with mini wheels on the side of it.
It's got flames. It's faster.
Oh man. So, all right, we went pretty long, so we'll wrap this one up. Episode 304. What do you want to? You really want to call it BBB?
Yeah, why not? It's if we can sign Besser this offseason, which I got so excited about, we'll fucking have the Better Business Bureau line. Oh, it'd be great.
Awesome. All right. Make sure to follow us on your favorite podcast feed, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the big two. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're posting more on there clip-wise from the show, and mini clips and segments, so you don't have to listen to the whole thing if you don't want to, but listen to the whole thing anyways. And social media at WCB Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Bye, boys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.